We're back on Lutherans Alive with Dr. Chuck Lockwood and Sheila Tallarico of Glade Run Lutheran Services in Zelienople. Thanks again, folks, for taking the time to come in. We were talking kind of in generalities in the first segment, and I know that there are a lot of kind of specialty programs that Glade Run offers that really does help with some specific applications and needs. And Sheila, I know that you are prepared to talk a little bit about some of those.
I am. Glade Run offers a number of specialty programs that in my opinion, really set us apart as a social service provider for children. And they're really very exciting and interesting. And a couple of my favorites are Glade. We have what's called Glade Run Adventures, or specialty services. And Glade Run Adventures is a therapeutic animal and horticulture program. So on our ground, because we have the 336 acres, we have a program that involves 7 horses, a pony, a donkey, wow, 3 goats, and a giant Flemish rabbit. And the children participate in this program. They come down to the barn, they feed the animals, they groom the animals, they get to ride the horses, and certainly equestrian therapy is not something that's new, but for these children who are vulnerable and at risk in a lot of ways, it teaches them about how to care for a living thing, how to show compassion, how to show tenderness, and it teaches them about unconditional love, which is something that some of these kids have never experienced. We also have on our grounds a beautiful greenhouse and gardens and outdoor classrooms for the children for our therapeutic horticulture program. And in this program, the kids come down, they get their hands dirty, they get to dig in the dirt. The children who live on the campus plant themed garden boxes with a different theme every single year. And again, it's teaches them about nurturing and caring for living things. And certainly there's that sense of accomplishment when your plant actually grows and produces flowers. And so they're very proud of that. And that is a program that is used by our residential children as well as our children who go to St. Stephen's, particularly the children in the autism classrooms. 5 days a week, those children have access to that program. It's very soothing, very calming for them. It builds confidence. Another program that we have that we're very proud of, being a Lutheran organization, are our spiritual care program. We have a small chapel on our campus. It's small but very lovely, where the children have the opportunity to go to Mass on Sunday, and we have a choir for the children to sing in. And that's a therapeutic activity as well, and certainly it teaches the children the lesson that, some of these children who are wondering if there is someone in the world who really loves them, to know that God loves them, if nothing else, that they can depend on that. So some really unique programs that set us apart, and I think that oftentimes parents who do bring their children to Glade Run, it's kind of what tips the scale for them to place a child with Glade Run when they see our beautiful campus and the access they have to these extra programs.
As you describe them, I think the viewer can kind of understand the connections with those different kinds of activities. With animals, I'm sure children and teens are coming from all kinds of environments to a place like Glade Run, and inner city kids or folks that have had no experience or exposure to animals could really be an eye-opening experience for them. And that situation where young people or children may have experienced life as beyond their control, to be able to plant a plant and nurture it and kind of feel that sense of responsibility for it and having some level of control over it. And to sing in a choir and to be able to cooperate with others and lend your voice and blend each of them, just in specific things like that jump out at me immediately as positives that they can experience and learn from those. Chuck, in terms of the spiritual aspect, you're coming to it from a position of a called person in the church. How's the structure? What are the kinds of things that you're looking for in terms of what you want to see in the spiritual life of folks while they're there?
We have a chaplain on our grounds, and we also have a deaconess, a Lutheran deaconess. We actually have several Lutheran deaconesses on our grounds. And we provide an array of what you would think of in normal worship life. We provide Sunday services, we provide special services at Christmas and Easter and different times of the year. There have been healing services that we've provided. We provide Sunday school, Vacation Bible School. A number of the kids actually have been baptized while they're there. Although I will add, this is all voluntary now on the part of the kids. Many of the kids that we have are not just Lutheran. I mean, they come to us from all walks of life.
Sure.
Many of them come in with very little church background, and yet they get in. A lot of them get engaged and they become involved. Then, in addition to that, we have really a sort of an integration into the treatment life of what the kids do. And again, it's all with the request of the child and the parents. They have to agree to it. But either our chaplain or our deaconess will actually do a little assessment with the child, try to understand where they are in their own spiritual journey. And what we try to do is work with them on their own spiritual journey. So whatever particular denomination they happen to be, we're not trying to change that. We're trying to help enhance that in their lives. And so we do an assessment with them, and then we try to take some of their treatment goals, and we try to look at some of them, whether it be family issues or anger issues or anxiety issues, whatever it might be. And we try to look at it theologically and from a biblical and theological perspective, and then try to bring in scriptural background and theological background to address those issues. And if you think about it, many of the things that the church addresses, if you would translate it over, shame, guilt, who am I, how do I belong, how important am I worth it, they're all deeply rooted in the message of the scriptures. And bringing those into bear on the light often shines a lot of light spiritually on the struggles that the kids are having. And it complements the rest of the treatment team. And we have psychiatrists and therapists, and we have staff that stay with, if they're on the grounds with kids all the time, to keep them safe. And so this is part of the complement and part of the uniqueness, I think, of what we do.
In terms of the actual experience in community life with the folks that are actually staying on campus at Glade, is there like a daily devotional time or an opportunity for them to practice a kind of a spiritual discipline or that sort of thing? I guess, as you say, that's probably pretty much individually determined with each person's own desires or situation.
It is, although we've done prayer groups on the grounds. Our chaplain has done that on and off, even with our staff. But that more is an individual basis. And we're also limited in our resources to be able to do that with the number of people that we have, because they're engaged in all of these treatment plan activities and all the other activities as well. So we do that, but we do it more on a particular seasonal event day or something like that. I did want to go back just briefly and mention, Sheila was talking about the horticulture and the animal program. Probably if there's one program that the children have talked to me more about than any other, it is the horses and their ability to master an animal and to trust an animal. And it's amazing the relationships they build through those animals.
We do have to take another break, but when we come back, I want to talk about the opportunity for folks to visit the site and maybe see some of the things that really are there and available for folks. We'll get to that when we come back in just a minute.